Today is April 25th, 2022. I just want to thank God for people that are so kind to me, so giving. And I woke up this morning and I had received an email, and I was like, and I get emotional when people are so thoughtful, and even my own family has never been thoughtful like that. And that I started tearing up after I found out that I had gotten like an e-gift card from Walmart from someone, and I didn't presume that it was going to work. I thought it was just something that was fake, because a lot of times I don't really think that the online world in community is there for positive, interactions. A lot of times they just like to, throw a bunch of information at you, or, all these people and their lives. And, it startles a lot of people, especially like the older generations that can't understand that everybody has their own opinion. And a lot of times people are just trying to be comical in certain things. And humor, it's relative, so it depends on this. It's circumstantial, and not everybody has gone through the same things, so that's why they get upset, they get frustrated over the same topics, because they aren't necessarily as easygoing with those topics. They're still needing to heal. There's some semblance of trauma behind it. So heal, the word heal, I looked at the name, the translation, or the meaning of the name Jason, and it's actually to heal. And I was like, well, that's really weird. Like, that's really kind of contradictory, because of the way that the whole thing was approached between him and I, and my name translates to joy, but apparently it's a certain type of joy that you get, like, say, in a honeymoon, like where you're just, I do exude a lot of love to random people and strangers, where I could understand it's overwhelming at times, because it's like almost like love bombing, but not really. It's genuine. So like, even as I was crying right now, it wasn't nearly as much as I was bawling on my way to try to find a gas station, a Walmart gas station. And I had to drive for approximately 25 minutes or so to get to one. And then I went into the Walmart that was attached to it, and I am just so elated, because I got to try some things that, like, I haven't had in a while. I know I don't like to microwave stuff or anything like that, but I got some of my things, and I even walked around the store and took my time. So this is getting warm right now. I really like this brand. This one's nice. It's a little bit sort of like bitter, and that's actually what I prefer now, because I overindulge with sugars anyway, and I can tell my feet swell when I have too many. I found these two. They're not organic, but it's like a chocolate ganache that's vegan, and it was only $3 at Walmart. And I was like, yeah, for my sweet tooth and the craving behind it, I'm just so grateful. You have no idea. Like, I just want to just cry for like 5 minutes, and I'm just so happy. Like, I managed to fill up my gas tank, and like, I've never been shown what true love is. So it's always off-putting when people show me kindness and don't want anything in return. And that's very nice. And even words of encouragement, but a majority of people try to offer advice in the same time as trying to encourage someone, and that doesn't necessarily help at all times, especially with someone with my diagnoses, all of my different diagnoses. So, yeah, there were some terrible comments that I woke up to also this morning, but those don't matter to me at all. One of them said something about like a truth finder, or like truth teller, or something like that. His is the profile. I don't really indulge. I don't enable them, because they're just trying to get me to break down in a negative way, and I just don't see that that's positive for me or my baby right now. So one of them was like, well, you know, I've dedicated my life to destroying you. And I was like, okay. Like, that's weird. Like what he had said or she said was like, when the people are posting up new sites and YouTube pages with all this, to counteract what your lies. And I'm just like, okay, have a good day. Like, I do respond sometimes, and then I delete it because I'm like, that's too negative. Like, you need to grow up. There's something wrong with you, and I've told you, I expose everything. Everything can be tracked and traced, every bit of my reality, which is sad, because one lady even said, she was like, she went off on a tangent about how that, she was 17 when she had her baby. And I was like, oof, and you're off giving advice? I'm sorry, but no thanks, teen mom. And she was saying something about, and I didn't even get the next messages. These people had been blocked. So there's no reason for me to indulge in their whatever's going on, because I feel like their accounts are just fake anyway, just to bring people down. That's what it is. They're trying to eat away at your consciousness, and I don't agree with that. But I do direct the energy where it needs to be directed, which is to inform others of what's going on and to give it back to that individual, where it's like, you understand your karma behind that, right? And you understand why you're suffering right now too, right? And that's why you're so mentally ill, that you are trying to harass a complete stranger that is down on her luck. So whatever proofs are out there, they're not really proofs. I mean, people that know me, obviously I video all over the place. I just got done dancing in the aisles of Walmart when I was picking up, I guess it was like the nut aisle or something like that. And a good song came on, and I saw the sign, and I love that song, and I love all these different, positive signs, here and there, signals here and there that keep me going. And I busted out dancing in the aisle while nobody was watching, and I thought that was fun, spinning around and just sort of grooving to whatever I want to. And that's my personality. I don't like to dwell in all that negativity too much, because then it gets overwhelming and I get consumed by the nonsense and the lies. And I think that could never, no. You need to grow up, and you need to find something to do, something better to do, because I've had enough pain and suffering in my entire existence to make an entire world suffer in that way. Like, I've seen and felt and been forced and coerced and all this and that because, the words of others. And then I realized, no, I just have to live it myself. I have to do these things myself. I've got to sample things on my own. I've got to understand, this and that. So I am just very grateful to the individuals that are positive toward me. The one that was 17 and pregnant, someone else put a comment, something about you shouldn't spread your legs and blah blah blah, and I was like, oh, are you talking to the 17-year-old? Yeah, that sounds about right, because I waited to have my children, and that's why when I was 21 I decided to get an abortion, because he coerced me in that way, and I didn't really want kids. So that's why I don't have sex randomly like that, not very often, not whatsoever really. And so I abstain a majority of the time, and I presume people are knowledgeable enough to abstain also, like understanding and comprehensive enough. Like, even when I was making another one of my purchases, I stood there for 5 minutes differentiating like which brand I wanted best, or which brand was best for me. And I've had this brand before, and I've had the chocolate chip, and it's so good. It's very tasty, and it's a good way of getting your plant-based protein, so I'm going to try this one. Sure, it was like $6 for the 4 bars, but when you're getting 10 grams of protein per, and it's also organic ingredients, that's why I went with that brand as opposed to this other one that was next to it that would have been the same price because it had a coupon. Oh, goodness. Ooh. So, but yeah, oh my God, did I show you this? Oh my God, it looks so delicious. It's so delicious. It looks so delicious. It really does. They're so good. And then the ones with the little additives in there. Oh, I like the coconut one. Oh, I shouldn't eat that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm terrible. I just washed my hands, and then but touching the external, like the exterior of the packages, that's still a lot of bacteria and everything we don't think about, and other people's hands and everything like that. And I knew something was weird too when I saw some people touching my food with their bare hands. Even within the last few years, I was always so grossed out. Majority of the time, I just sort of detached. I just didn't care. I was one of those that went to McDonald's like every day. I feel really bad because I don't mean to call them out like that, because I know that, you know, people love that place and people love Walmart too. I love Walmart. I love Walmart for their, this gift card was amazing. Yeah, it's good. I was worried. I thought for a minute that it wasn't going to be cold anymore. One lady. Oh, I forgot to tell you about 17 and pregnant over there. Okay. She was saying some rude comment about don't let the child go into foster care. She said, you know, something about giving it to a good home. Are you trying to tell me that I wasn't a good home, that I'm not a good home, like I'm not a good person? Because that's rude. Someone that's 17 and pregnant, I don't think they have an opinion toward my life at all. And that's why you wanted to get your attention, seeking, you know, whatever. She's one of those blocked accounts. And I feel bad, because my mother tried to give me advice too, and I said, you're a whore. I'm sorry. You were 15 and you were seeking it. I was not. When I was on the verge of being 17, but I was already on birth control at that time. So, of course, with my first boyfriend, we would have sex during special occasions, around his birthday, around holidays, and we had just a handful of times throughout the years that we were not very often, you know. So, my prom night, you know, things like that, which I know is terrible to talk about. But it's all true, and everybody goes through it. And if we were just more open and honest about it, and less shamed for it, and I understand she was just seeking love, but why did you do it without your birth control? So that's why I wanted to direct the one comment from that one girl. It's quit spreading your legs and something about birth control, and I was like, oh, you're talking to the 17 and pregnant. I think she's learned her lesson. I think she's old, so I don't know. Hopefully she has. Otherwise, we're going to have a bunch of unwanted children. So 17 and pregnant told me, and I don't know, something about sunshine is her name. I don't see very much sunshine coming from that if you're directing people to try to give up their babies, and you don't realize that I've already donated my other babies in that way. Because I told her, I said, for you to try to tell somebody to donate their baby, and you don't know how much they love babies, but they just didn't want them in that way. Yes, I wanted them, but I wanted them with the right person. I wanted them in the right situation, in the right context, and that's why I refrained. So yeah, she went off on a tangent. She was very upset, and then she made up a bunch of falsified comments behind it and everything like that. Paragraphs of it, going on and on. Something, I don't know, I didn't read it. It's too negative. Adopting is donating, and I'm not going to donate my baby. No thank you. I've donated enough in my life. I've already donated one child, Rumpelstiltskin. No thank you. So, this one is good. I recommend all of them. It's made with organic coconut. So tasty. I share these moments with you because I have no friends. I have no life. So, my life is just being a consumer. And what more could I ask for, really? I mean, we're very blessed here in the United States to be able to have so much. We are. And then we don't realize it because in other countries they're so overpopulated and everything is so unhygienic, that everybody's, you know, getting diseases and ailments and whatever. Plus the lack of education about all these issues, which is very sad. That's good. There's little tiny bits of like chocolate in there. Damn, that's good. That is good. Telling you, you guys are missing out. Vegan food is delicious. I'm going to show you the rest of my haul. I rounded up my change. $38. I don't mind giving them my change. I figure it's a good gesture, and if they want it, they can have it. But when I have it to offer, you know? So right now, yeah. As it came from that e-gift card. I'm so excited. I was so happy. So happy that it actually worked. And I wasn't just being like gaslighted again. I feel like such a good girl sometimes. And I know that sounds weird, but like my personality is not normal compared to most. Like I'm not average. So that was so good. Oh my god, I'm gonna eat some of this ganache too because it's already getting kind of ooh. I love these. They are so good for being like, I wish they had organic, of course, of these items, but you can't find much at all Walmarts. They have a lot less selection for vegan things than, say, the grocery stores or the specialty, you know, natural selections in some of the stores and all that. What are they called? Like smaller grocers or other grocers that understand, I mean, that they prioritize the freshness and overall well-being. Walmart is sort of like that consumer place where it's like, oh, it's quick and easy, and you know, not everything that they have to offer is what you want, but it is affordable. So, and you can't bash that, because if you're going through things, financial constraints and all that, you need to find your sales here and there. And a lot of people, they look at me and they're like, oh, you're so overprivileged. And I'm like, yes, I am. And I apologize. And if there were a way I could give back, I totally would. Pardon me. But at this time, I just don't, because I don't have anything. And then she wants me to donate my babies. What's wrong with you? This is good. Now, it's not quite like chocolate milk or anything because it's got more ingredients in there, but it's got prebiotics as well. That's got to be good for you. It's got to be good for you. I don't know. That's what they say. So, anyway, oh, I got these. They're not organic either, but it was like a brand from somewhere else. And I thought, well, why not? You know? It's from the UK, and let me try some of these. They look kind of tasty, and they're vegan. I mean, they're not necessarily very nutritious, but it is a nice snack for me to have on hand, because I can't keep yogurt on hand and things like that. I don't have any way of storing it. I have no refrigeration in this vehicle. So, and then I got these immediately on the way in because, and I know that's not organic either, so when they use all these fields of grains and whatever, yeah, there's contaminants and whatnot. I need to tell you about what I saw last night. Okay, last night, I'm driving past in an alley, and this freaking rat, huge rat, runs out from an apartment complex and into the field across the way, and he's just carrying something in his mouth. I don't know, but I was horrified. I had never really seen all of that. I'm worried that when I go to like a large city like New York, that they're just going to be everywhere. I'm going to be horrified and scared. But at the same time, I'm not really scared of animals like that. Like, I have affection for them. I understand. I have empathy for them, and I know that they're just trying to survive. And it killed me when I had mice in my own home and I had to like get sticky traps. Just the sound of their screams is haunting. It's haunting. Oh my Jesus. At one point too, my dog had gotten impregnated by this stray dog, and I didn't know what to do with the puppies. They were pit bull puppies, and in the area in the south that I was living, nobody wants pit bull puppies. And I was so sad because they taught us in, when at the first pet store that I worked at, he taught us that putting animals in the freezer was the most humane thing to do for them. And at that time, I was on a lot of psychiatric meds too, you know, trying to go through my stuff and trying to figure this out. And I knew nobody wanted those puppies, and I stuck them in a bag and put them in the freezer and heard their whimpering cries as they died. And I'm so horrified that I did that, that I caused that. That was like 8 lives, and that just horrifies me. I mean, that is something that I've had to like repent for and seek some type of peace, because I feel for everything around me, and when I've done things like that, it hurts my soul so deeply you don't even know. There are hardly any tears that come up anymore, but when I was coming off my meds and everything and rationalizing what I had done and just recognizing that I had done wrong, that was the most harsh pill to swallow, because I was in such denial, like these puppies didn't need to exist. But somebody could have maybe had them, but I don't know. There's so many people out there that don't know where to go or where to turn to seek assistance for, you know, their issues. And that's the sad part, is that there's so many places that want these unwanted things, like this woman that was trying to tell me to donate my baby. And that's what I call it. It's not adopting the baby out, it's donating it. And that's not fair, because I'm the one feeding it wholesome foods. I'm the one taking care of it for 9 months. I want to breastfeed the baby. I don't want anybody else touching my baby. And I told that to the, you know, when my first baby was born, like, no, don't even take her away from my side, because I'm horrified. No. Somebody might steal her or inject her with something that I don't want. And that's what frightens me, is that like we have no control in this world, because there are people, you know, up above us that if something is not necessarily going their way, they're going to make sure to snuff out certain individuals. And I'm not saying I'm one of those individuals. I'm just saying that like I had a lot of shit go on, and like all the times I had this, I swear to God, I had electrical shocks in the fucking psych wards. And I do believe that it's a heightened amount of metallics in our systems that can reach certain frequencies. And some people don't believe me. They don't understand it. And I'm like, well, how do they use this and this technology? How is this? And sonar and all this and that. You're crazy. Don't be crazy. So yeah. And then I got these. These were like the most expensive purchase. But I can't help it. They're so tasty. They're organic, and cashews, when I have like a handful of them, it's just so satiating. It's just, I could eat the whole bag if I, you know what I mean? But I have to pace myself, because they're just so mouth-wateringly delicious, you know? And then I got a little bit of seaweed, because I do like seaweed. I wish they had organic, but I didn't have my choice. This was the only package they had there, the only brand. I'm sure it'll be delicious, because all of the seaweed that I get, you know, and it's organic. Oh, it actually is organic. I didn't see that. Well, that's good. That's nice. I'm glad I got it. So, and it'll be tasty. That's so tasty. So, but yeah, and then I also got another juice. Oh, I donated the other juice because I saw some homeless people in the area that I was hanging out at before I moved my car. I didn't have gas, so I wasn't going anywhere, but now I've got a little bit of gas, so I can keep myself safely out of people's line of sight, and, you know, hide away here and there and move around throughout the days, because I still have like a week or whatever until I get, well, 10 days technically, until I get more money, cash money. So I just have to pace myself and make sure that I'm not taking all of it, like using it all at once. And I was so excited, because it was more than I most, you know, normally get, like from any, like even the little donations. I'm not ungrateful for it. Even the $5 one where she said, "I'm sorry I offended you." It was just me relaying that it's hurtful that I have to say these hurtful things, and I don't want to. I have to, because I've been backed into a corner so many times that I don't know who to trust anymore. People told me all the time, come with me and we'll get you this. And the gaslighting has gotten to me. It's affected me like it's part of the post-traumatic stress. So I don't want to say these evil things. I don't want to talk about killing my baby. And somebody even said, they were like, blah, 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 how can we believe blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, because I'm not a murderer? Because yes, I killed those puppies. That makes me very sad. I did that. I put them in the freezer. They didn't live afterward. That's very sad. Most people don't understand that. And if you can't engage with that, that means that you're not emotionally evolved. That means that your emotions aren't all there and you don't understand empathy, which is very sad. And I feel sorry for those people. And I've dated people like that. Believe me, I'm not opposed to giving people an opportunity to change. And that's how I felt like, well, maybe this baby is helpful for Jason in some way. Like maybe at some point he'll recognize that, yeah, he's got a kid out there and yeah, it's, and I'm not like, and that's why it took me a while. That's why I posted the interactions between him and I, because I needed everyone to see my perspective in that way too. I wasn't seeking anything sexually. I wasn't looking for that. And you can see that through the encounters. And then afterward too, when I disclosed that I was pregnant to him and there was just no responses, I just, like I said, I didn't relay any of those messages, but I was telling him all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm hormonal. Like, I'm very upset all the time. Of course I'm going to talk about killing the baby and this and that. That's what people wanted me to do in the first place. Immediately within the first, few weeks, when I told that other guy about it, he was like, I can pay for an abortion. And then someone else, too, from the YMCA in Hot Springs, she said, and I still have her card, she was like, I'll pay for your abortion. And I ran away. I fucking ran away. I was like, fuck you people, you're all crazy. Like, I've already sustained enough trauma. God wanted me to go down that path at, an earlier age. I was 21. I already had an abortion. That's not for me. And so for someone to say to adopt my baby out, no thank you. I've already lost 3 babies. Don't come at me like that, bro. And somebody said something about, no wonder she doesn't have her daughter. I don't have my daughter because I fell prey to my ex-husband's words, not anything else. And all he did was capture me in my heightened states of reactive abuse and told everyone that was the main abuse and that he was the victim. But he's not the victim because he hasn't even sought mental help afterward. So that is viable proof that he was never a victim. Viable proof that when he went and told me he just didn't believe in the constructs of marriage and then got remarried, he's a complete manipulative narcissist. Like, that's what it is. And I had to realize that throughout the years. I had to research these words. I had to realize where I truly sat in the entire scenarios, because I thought, you're right, I shouldn't have hit him in the head with the frying pan or the saucepan. It was all my fault. That's why he left me. No. He actually abused me first, and that was my reaction. And then I was blaming myself for all of that happening too. I blame myself for my daughter getting taken, and that's not fair. That is not at all fair, because I felt like, it's just horrifying that somebody would get away with so much to manipulate someone and destroy them because of my words. And it was because I had demeaned him so many times in that way to clarify to him, you're not all that, buddy. You may think you're all that and you get away with shit around me, but you're not all that, high and mighty. And that's what he hated. He hated a woman that was confronting him and that was, too domineering. So anyway, here's that I prefer this brand too, as opposed to the other brands, Juicy Juice. But this still has got concentrate in it, and it's not organic, so I'm just like, I'm not going to drink that. But I did grab some organic potatoes so that I can have them, because I have a carb addiction right now. I just want a bunch of carbs. And I mean, even the protein sometimes, like, I do crave it, but it's not as bad as me wanting potatoes. Like, just baked potatoes. I guess that's what I want. And I wish I had, like, butter, the vegan butter. But salt and pepper works just fine for me, too. I keep it simplistic because I have to a majority of the time. And that's why stuff is so overwhelming for me at times. Like, the flavors of things, or, you know, understanding, like, the lack thereof flavor, because I'm used to both, you know, surviving on both things. At one point, I had produce that was going bad. And, I sat out there and I was eating raw mushrooms that were all weirdly slimy, but I didn't want them to go to waste, so I was eating them anyway. And but I do that because that's, you know, I stem from people that have had nothing, truly have had nothing. And that's why my grandmother believes still that my father did right by everyone in the circumstances, even though he didn't. You know, abusing us doesn't mean that you have the power, and just because you gave us a better life, you know, that doesn't mean anything. You still should not abuse people. Like, why do you do that? Why do people do that? Why do they feel like they need to abuse the person that they are helping? You know, that they're helping. Why? Oh my God. Oh my God, this is so good. Oh my God. Oh my God. See, now if I were dressed nicely, had my shit all together with my titties out, just be eating stuff in front of the camera and getting paid for it. I don't know. I don't understand why people find that attractive. None of it. I don't know. I never really was one to watch porn or anything like that. But even when I was a kid and going through all that weird stuff and the hormone changes from being on birth control and all that, I was overly sexual because of it. Because it makes your mind feel like you're pregnant. And if your mind feels like it's pregnant, it's going to want to satisfy itself in that way. That's why, yeah, that's why I got off of it 6 years ago. And that's why I'm going super crazy right now. And videoing everything. Because that's not normally like me. Normally I just keep everything to myself and harbor resentments. And now I'm like, no, I'm just going to offer this to the world. You can help me finally seek some true peace. Get some real help. Which is not putting me in psych wards. And it's not telling me that I need to, you know, kill my baby or get rid of my baby. No, I want to be with my baby. I want to love it. And I want to have a family with it. And I want, you know, to feed it an organic diet and, you know, help it be as plant-based as I can without anybody being weird about it and, oh, you're denying the baby. Fuck you. No. So anyway, as long as they've got the proper nutrition, I don't see the problem in that. People are crazy. Keep your opinions to yourself unless you've gone through it yourself. Which, that's why I do disclose about, like, fat shaming and stuff. Because I was fat shamed. Just saying. It's not that I hate fat people. I love them. I love overweight people. They're very kind. They're very giving most of the time. But then they are very sad. They make it out to be like they're so happy, but they're really sad. I wish I had a way of keeping things cold. I wish I had my own little, like a travel van and stuff with it all converted vehicles that they've got. I've seen videos and everything. Somebody was like, you should do that. And I'm like, yeah, if I had the money to. What are you talking about? Quit giving me weird ideas that I don't have money for. Like, maybe one of these days if I had money, then I'd do this stuff and try it out and then tell everybody how it goes. And I don't even like to, like, shove it in people's faces that I'm doing so good. I mean, look at how good I'm doing right now. These chocolate little ganache things, oh my God, they're so fucking good, I'm telling you. Like, I'm too happy right now, and that's why people like to knock me off my pedestal. And I don't mind it anymore, because I still climb back up anyway, with my teeth. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. I do this stuff with or without a camera, mind you. I'm sure it's been caught on surveillance many times. My weird faces, me talking to myself, me just making weird noises as I'm eating and looking weird. Yeah. Yeah. Yum. 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 And when the lady said she threw up 3 times after she watched my video, me eating those sandwiches because I ate too much. And I was like, I feel sorry for you. I hope you're not throwing up. And I hope that's not signs of bulimia or something else. That's sad. Because if people can't watch others eat and whatever, if they're getting a reaction because of someone else eating, that's a mental disorder. And that makes me feel very sad for them. Because you need to be, healthy and happy within yourself. I had suffered, like I said, from some bouts of bulimia. But it was never prolonged. It was only a few days at a time, if not just once in a while, occasionally, because I had overeaten. And in my mind, I thought, you don't need all that those excessive calories. You had enough nutrition, or whatever you just ate is really irritating your stomach. You need to get it out, The majority of the time it was that. Something's irritating your stomach. Get it out. I forced myself to vomit in the jail, too. They saw me doing it all the time because there was something wrong with whatever diet they were giving me. And I vomited. I projectile vomited first, blood. And then I was like, oh shit, there's something in the food. And I stopped eating for a while. Obviously. But nobody actually gets down and asks the person, why did you do these things? Instead, they've got video footage of people doing things, and they don't understand the underlying cause of it, And then they're like, oh, you're crazy. You got issues. Mental disorder due to eating disorders. Yes, and that's why I overeat. I get that. So, but the plant-based dieting helps exponentially because it keeps me from gaining any weight, which has been amazing. I am not even trying to, wow. I don't want to contradict people and their nutritional viewpoints and whatever, but I'm telling you, from what I've experienced the last 2 years, it has been miraculous. A total of 155 pounds lost, and then I started gradually gaining right now because of the pregnancy. Not bad. I wanted to share my story when I was like fully and completely settled. I did. I was waiting to share my story. But then I thought, Leticia, there is no good time to wait to help others. You need to put your stuff out there so that you can help people, because it wasn't even about money. It was always about just trying to be there for other people, and in a way that I was never given that individualized attention and affection. So if I had somebody to tell me, hey, guess what? This is what's going to lead to this. And so I was going down the candy aisle too, and I thought, I wonder if there's any good vegan candy. And then I thought, candy is terrible for us. It is the devil, is what, the Southern folks say about that being the devil. And this and that, that's all the devil. And TV and phones and all that, and candy and whatnot is the devil. Because it is the devil. Because it will consume you. You end up with addictions toward it, and then your teeth start rotting out, and then you can't eat anything else. So yeah, it is a portion of that demonic side. I had to start seeing things like that in the balance, and refraining from certain things, like even this. It's probably a lot of sugar. I didn't even check. It says 3 added sugars, 3 grams of added sugars. So not too bad. 100 calories per cup, 1 gram of protein, and 7 grams of fat. I never check the fat. Never, ever, ever do I check the fat on anything. Never do I check anything but essentially, and I don't check the calories either. When I switched to a plant-based diet, and I told everyone, this is how I did it. I did it with a lot of the substitutes and alternatives, Morningstar Farms and everything. They're a cheaper version. So now they're good substitutes for that, but they may not be the most nutritious substitutes out there. I'm not going to lie to anyone. And that's what I don't like doing, is lying or trying to promote something I don't really necessarily fully agree with. And I'm not trying to promote anything. I'm just trying to express to individuals what I've come in contact with that I enjoy. And that's especially my daughter. So she'll get a great idea of the type of person I truly was. The type of person that she missed out on. The type of mom that would have been so cool, dancing in the aisles. What a silly mom. But yeah, I don't get sad about it anymore, because I know that God's going to bless me in other ways. I used to get so sad. I was like, why are you taking her from me? And it was to learn a lesson through what had happened with my ex-husband, and to stop being so naive toward everyone's words and start seeing their actions as their actual demeanor, as their actual character, not their words. And I had to realize that. I was like, oh God, I've done that with my family my whole life too. Just been, what is that? Hanging on their words. But then their actions never coincided with those words. They never actually, they were just sort of like, they were opposing, which was weird. And I always thought, like, that's super odd. I thought for sure, man, I'm a chubby chubkins. I used to call Chingona, my pit bull, I used to call her Dummy Dumbkins, because she was just the cutest. She always looked like she was dumb, but she was so smart. She really was. She looked like, and everybody said she was just so dumb looking because she was just so chubby, and her little toothpick legs and her big old head with the big old mouth. Oh, she was so cute. She never hurt a fly until I came home one day and my poodle's head was gone. And she was covered in blood. And I thought, no. I went straight to the psych ward because of that. Yep. Still traumatizing. That was Canella. That was my baby that I had for 12 years since she was 5 weeks old. My poodle. That was traumatic. I never got to say goodbye to her. And I try so hard to remind myself that her energy is still with me, because it is. And I don't know why anybody would want to watch my videos, aside from just the tidbits of information that I have, and like the weird distorted emotions that I have here and there, like my mood swings, which is good to know. And somebody even said something about, the authorities need to know where you are. We need to keep the world safe from you, baby killer. And I'm just like, well, yes, I did kill a baby before. Inside of me, I did. And that was very hard for me to take. But I'm not a baby killer. And I know that. And if it came down to it, then I would just be like, well, fuck it. You guys are fucked, because you can't fucking help me and find a suitable situation for a mother and her child, where, like, I wasn't seeking the baby, but it's just weird. And it makes me wonder how many times I used the plan B and might have been pregnant, at that time. Because contraception, in that way, is so detrimental to the female. And the males don't understand that, because they just believe we're going crazy, mood swings. No, you caused it by wanting to have sex with us. And not only that, a majority of us didn't even know that we were flirting with you. Like, I didn't know I was flirting with you. Like, I thought I was just being me, and that you were just going to accept me and give me the respect I deserve as a human being, not as a cum dumpster. I'd say these terrible, phrases, because that's what I've come in contact with. That's what the people say toward me, and that's why I relay it in such a way to get it off my chest and to tell people, like, no, I don't believe I'm a cum dumpster like that. Like, I was married, but I do feel like that's very harsh. So I sit in between on that. And it's just like, oh my God, you're right. That's all he did. So yes, that's all I am. So of course I have those underlying issues. Everyone does. And you got to combat it on a momentary basis. Not a daily basis, a momentary. Every moment is different within itself. Time is irrelevant. Time is a fabrication. So that's why I tell everyone that, like, you know, the fact that we have timestamps and everything, sure, that helps us engage with this reality here, this 3D plane, but there's so much beyond that. And you don't understand energy and the flow of time and nature. And I've been trying to delve into, what's the word? Like physics in that way. Or what is the word? I was researching it weeks ago. Like theories in physics, things like that. And so, God, I'll come up with it soon. It'll pop into my head. I need to start spending more time researching things that physicists say, because they've got a good clear idea of the energy flow, and some people can relay it directly to their own lives. And I understand the flow in nature. I understand in that way, that balance. Now, years ago, I was in denial of it. I had information, but I refused to engage with that intuition and that information because I believed that it was inaccurate. Oftentimes, too, still, I will get a first response, and that is not my correct response. That is not the genuine response or the one that I have chosen to follow. So I understand now that I have to hesitate in moments, many moments, to engage with my true feelings or true thoughts toward a situation or anything, even like with purchases and such. So, because your immediate thought is oftentimes just a reaction to the stress of new information, you know, that's exactly what it is. So it takes me a moment sometimes to engage, in like years sometimes as well, because of denial. And we're all like that. We're all like that. And I'm learning new things all the time, and I can't wait to discuss things with intellectual people, discuss my information with intellectuals that can help me to engage with fragments of my being and my cognizance that I'm not aware of yet. So, and I feel like I've come in contact with so many spiritualists in that way, and people that are so heightened in their intuition that they've given me a reflection of a reality that I knew was there, but was always in denial of due to other people's opinions. So I don't let that sway my mind anymore, and you shouldn't either, unless you know something as fact, as if you've engaged with that particular product, that particular person. You cannot have that bias toward things, because everyone does things due to mental strain that they oftentimes regret, and we cannot hold them accountable for that often, many times, because in those instances when they are detached, they may not have done those certain things, and that is also a fragment of the universe and God speaking through that individual. So that's what we have to deal with in our realm of reality, is that these things happen. What do we need to do in order to stop these issues, these problems from exploding like that, to get heightened in that sense of destruction toward everything around them. So I'm so happy right now. Like, you have no idea. These corn dogs, this is what I want right now. I'm gonna eat this, probably the entire bag, I know I already had so much food, but really I don't, like I said, I never counted the calories. And even right now, I'm sitting at a certain weight. And I haven't been exercising, which is very sad for me because I really want to exercise, but I always feel self-conscious now because, I have to take breathers. I literally have to catch my breath in between working out. So I know I need cardio. I know I do. But will the baby allow me to do all the work that I want to do to myself in that way, to exercise all the muscle groups? I am not sure. At first he was very tame, like he was smaller. Now he's much bigger, and he hurts when he kicks and stuff, and he's very active a lot of times, especially after I've eaten, or moments where I'm heightenedly excited or something like that, just all these different times, or even my frustration. So I'm worried though that when I stop smoking that I don't have any other vice to help me to cope with my stress, and I would much rather not have a vice and have something positive to do, like painting or something like that. If I had my own place, I wouldn't be smoking weed. Believe me, this baby would be, if I had all the things situated again, then it would be different, story. But I was forced into interacting with men right now, and this baby is not just happenstance, in that way. It's a blessing. And I tell everybody there's hidden positives and negatives within blessings. So he's a blessing. And I was looking up names, like I said, and I also like the name Raphael. It's nice. Raphael. It's cute. So I was looking up the translations. Boy names are not something I'm too familiar with, so I'm going to have to do my research. And, I wanted to get as much information from the father to attach to his name, but only in the sense of respect toward his lineage. Not necessarily because I'm trying to sway Jason into believing certain things or whatever, any of this nonsense, or making him try to love me through all these things. No, I want to give the baby also the respect he deserves, because knowing where he stems from, where his bloodline is from. So, and I don't want to attach my last name to him because my, maiden name, Servin, that is a toxic name to me. My grandmother had told me that my grandfather was cursed one day when he was walking home drunk and came across the devil himself. Or no, she said that a chupacabra. And the chupacabra was apparently exchanged something with my grandfather in order to allow him to progress financially, but stole his soul. So my grandmother had known my grandfather was evil, and that, my father and all this and that. And she told me this story and everything like that. And I, it's so weird because I remember being able to understand her at certain ages. But then now when I engage with certain words and everything, it's like I have to relearn a lot of it and re-engage with it because of all the trauma that I sustained. And that makes perfect sense. But it's difficult when you're coming out of certain bouts of psychosis, especially in those instances where you truly want to believe that people are going to do right by you. And then when they don't, it shatters your entire reality. And that's where I sit within that realm, where it's like I don't want to seek help. I haven't, and somebody was saying something about me asking for money. I have not asked for money. What are you talking about? The people that I've gone to that have offered me things to generally offer it to me because I state the facts of what I'm living through. And I don't necessarily say, I need money right now. Can you give me $20? Can you give me $50? I don't have gas. I don't have this and that. No. I tell people what the facts are. Either they want to help me or they want to hurt me. And a majority of people want to hurt others. because they say that, some BS about me needing to get myself together. I'm 34 years old, yada yada. You didn't live my life. That's why I walk around in pajamas. Like, you didn't live my life. It was stressful. And the fact that I'm still not getting the respect that I deserve, stressful. I'm creating some dude's baby, and he doesn't even have the fucking respect to talk to me. That's fucked up. That is so fucked up. That makes men so beneath women that it's hilarious. And it's like, if you can't engage with your emotions, that makes you less than. And you need to see that. And it's very sad that I have to disclose it in that way. And I do not mean to generalize anyone. Just so you know. I do not try to generalize all men, because there are many men out there that can engage with all of their sides, very faithful, very loving toward their partners. I am not talking about those men. Those are real men. I'm talking about the fragment of men that are actually pussies. Sorry, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about all these other people that, honestly, God loves, and they love themselves, and then they love the people around them. I'm talking about those deviants that don't have that self-love, and all they want to do is go around destroying women. So, and that's sad, because they have mommy issues. That's all it is, truly. It boils down to having issues within their own sexuality and their own lack of constraint. And then mother issues, where the mother was toxic or abusive, or in some facet, sexually abused them. And they didn't even realize that it was sexual abuse. So that's very sad. Very, very, very sad. And like my mother, in some senses and everything, she would walk around with nothing but her t-shirt on. Literally, just a big ass t-shirt. No underwear, no bra. That was my mom. And my dad walked around in his boxer briefs constantly. So, yeah, that's why when I saw my ex-husband and what his mom was doing too, and she didn't even have an oversized t-shirt. She had like a regular t-shirt. My mother at least would wear ones down to right above her knee. And I'm not sure if she was just seeking all this attention. She was always so kind to my brother's friends and this and that. She was seeking attention. And I cannot, I call these people whores, but when when they have daddy issues, that's what happens. And my mother has extensive daddy issues, and she did not get the opportunity to, make amends with them before he passed away when I was approximately 3 years old. My grandfather, Morrison. So, yeah. I don't even know what to say some days, because I know my life story is very interesting and a lot of people like to hear it, but then they say it's just a story. No, it's not a story. There's everyone attached. This is real life. And that's why somebody said something about like a train wreck and like a Lifetime movie. And I said, yes, it is very much like that. That is why I wanted to write about it. That's why I wanted to disclose this after I'd gotten to the point where I succeeded. But I couldn't hold my tongue anymore. I just couldn't. I had no one to talk to. I had nothing to do, and I needed to find some outlet. And this is my way of alleviating stress and offering therapy to myself as well as others, I suppose, which is really weird, because you just have to sit there and take those moments to reflect. And like I said, get out into nature and get out into the bare basics of things. And the more that you eat of these healthful items, the more rational you're going to be in your overall demeanor and character and reflection to the world. So most people, they're like, well, just because you're well-spoken. Well, I don't know why that is. But God made me this way for a purpose. And I'm not going to say that it was for some, godly reason, or I'm some kind of prophet or any of this stuff. I know, Leticia knows that she's very humble. And whatever she's doing, whatever God's plan is for her, I just say, leave it to God. That's how I am. And so far so good. I may cry some days, but that's the point. We're supposed to have that pain and suffering in order to engage with the positive and actually appreciate the positives. So I am so grateful for that fucking yogurt. I love it so goddamn much. It was so goddamn delicious. So delicious. And I know people don't necessarily like the foul language, but it's part of our everyday culture now. And we need to understand that some expressions of these are in order to reflect our happinesses, not necessarily disdain toward things. So saying the word like fuck, you know, children are doing it nowadays. I saw this adorable video where this little girl flipped off somebody, and it was so funny. It was hilarious to me. I know that's not necessarily the best demeanor, that the best reaction for the child to have, and she was only like approximately 3 or 4 years old. But these things are not going to disappear on their own. So unless we are sitting down and discussing with our children how offensive these things are and how offensive it comes across to others, like I was when I would say the word shit or fuck or, you know, all these demeaning words, or even Jesus Christ, or, you know, saying God's name out aloud, like God, fuck, you know. But even Tourette's and things like that, you have to understand people that have that detachment, they don't have that access to regular terminology within that instance. So it's all right to let a few things slide. But now if your children are just going up and bad-mouthing everything and telling everyone else to fuck off, there's a huge difference. Huge difference. That's why when I do it too, I need to catch myself. I'm like, why would I want my child going around telling everyone to fuck you? I don't. That's why I'm getting it out, so I can help everyone to understand this is what they saw. This is why they abused me for my freedom of speech and my emotions. And that's not fair. Not in the slightest. So just because I have a certain opinion about something and it's aggravating me, and there have been times too where I'll tell people, well, fuck this. And they're like, hey, calm down with the language. And I'm like, hold on. I have PTSD. I'm talking about the situation, not pertaining to you. Please, you know, disregard the word because it's not directed to you personally. And then people are like, okay, I can understand that. But there have even been representatives over the phone, the customer service representatives that I've spoken with. And when I inform them of certain things, and I'll say, well, this motherfucking goddamn situation, and they'll say, I can't deal with you. And I'm like, well, if you can't deal with it and you're in the customer service line of work, if, you know, then you're not in the right line of work. Because you need to understand that these people, some people's aggravation stems, that's why we call to file these complaints. Some of us cannot refrain from expressing our raw emotion toward the circumstance over again because that's our PTSD coming back. And even in those instances where I get something happen to me, like say at the store, and I'm told no, and all this and that, I'm always very calm and polite, and I keep those words to myself. I don't just go up and cuss out the cashier, and I don't tell her I'm gonna fucking slit your throat to her face. You know, like that's crazy. So I refrain. I hold it all in. I call the corporate offices and I tell them, hey, guess what? This shit happened to me. I'm very fucking frustrated. And I'll say things like that in my sentencing, and that's all they pinpoint are swear words. And they're like, oh, she's cussing at me. I'm so sorry. Please disregard that. I'm not doing it toward you. I'm doing it toward this situation because of my frustration. So, and that's what we need to understand, is that, like, we need a moment. Some of us need that moment to redirect our emotions, to redirect our initial thoughts, our reaction toward the situation, and allow us to de-stress, diffuse, like I said, diffuse, sort of like, just sort of, breathe and reflect prior to continuing to engage with something that is frustrating us to the point of physical aggravation, verbal aggravation. So yeah, I just wanted to relay what was going on right now. I know it's already been an hour, and I know that a lot of people don't watch the entire video. They'll just get excerpts here and there, or they get relayed information by others. I do apologize for anything that you've heard that is out of context. I do apologize if you've been, exposed to any manipulative context toward me and my story, because this is a true life event, and I'm not trying to, these are the actual things happening in this moment, as well as what has happened in the past. I'm just relaying over again, due to my trauma, why I'm traumatized, why I'm disabled technically, why I have certain feelings, very, very strong feelings towards certain things, and why I get aggravated quickly, or so some people say. But, depending on where you're at in the nation even, the people will see it as a normal behavior, because they understand, say in a large city, people are going to have their chips on their shoulders, and people are going to have frustration, and it's not personal. It's them going about their day, and that's what we need to realize. It's not always personal. I know that these personal attacks toward me get a little bit overwhelming, because I'm like very confused, and I pray for their mental health, but that's all I can do, because they cannot slander me. They will never be able to defile my character, nor will they be able to steal from me. That's just how it is. I've had some people try to access my accounts even. That's how shady some of these individuals are. And I'm just saying, and these are falsified accounts anyway. So the falsified YouTube accounts, not my accounts. My accounts, my recollection of things, very spot on. And that's what's hilarious about me, because I have good grammar, and I have a photographic memory, and it's because of the trauma that I have these things, and I may not relay everything directly, in order. But when you allow me to repiece things together, or to say write an essay of these things, it comes out pretty eloquent, pretty well versed in that way. So well worded. So anyway, I am gonna go find a microwave to go eat these corn dogs. I wish I had, they're so much better when they're crispy out of the oven. Oh, so good. They are good. Now get some mustard or some hot sauce. They're a little dry. Now, with all those animal products, they've got all that excess juice and everything. I would worry. That tastiness, that delicacy, that mouth-watering sodium intake and all that, you have to understand those are additives to that meat and everything. So you might not want to be eating that kind of stuff. But anyway, so like this right here, delicious. Let me see. I think that's it right now. I'm so excited, and I still have a little bit left on that gift card, and I did not expect that e-gift card to work. I did not, honestly. I was so surprised that it worked, and now I've got gas, and now I've got, at least for the week and everything. You have no idea. My gas gauge was sitting at around a half a tank for the last 3 or 4 days, because I managed to not move my vehicle that often, and the areas I was going to, I made sure that, and I didn't even walk anywhere. I just moved my vehicle, but made sure that I was using the eco mode on my car and everything. I was going to go actually right now and get my oil changed from Walmart. And because that's the most important thing to do for me, is to maintain my equipment, my house, what I do, right? So I always try to place my priorities first. And I was going to go over there, but it was $43, and that would have taken out a lot, because I already used $29 for gas. So I was like, okay, that's too much right now. And then I got all this stuff. It was $38. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm glad that I spent the time to overindulge, even with this ganache or whatever. I'm hyped on sugar right now. I'm telling you, I am so excited. I'm so excited. And I need to go work out. I do. I need to go work this off. And I guess this is a different, I had to drive further away and stuff, so this is a different area, and I might feel more comfortable when there's new people that don't know me. So sometimes it's like that, because if too many people watch me and everything, all they do is have their weird condescending opinions toward what I'm doing. And it's like, wait a second, I'm not working out all weird. I'm not. I'm engaging my muscles in ways that I know. And also, too, I'm learning still. I've only been working out for less than 2 years consecutively. So it's none of your business that I dance in between my sets. This is the way I keep myself motivated. And because you've got a strange opinion toward it, like I'm weird looking, or like I'm trying too hard, or that I'm trying to seduce anyone, that's all your own mind games, not mine. I don't play games like that. I do not play mind games. Reverse psychology is one thing, but that's not playing a mind game if you are only doing it like once or twice, and it's just to try to help the other individual. Like what I was doing with Jason Wallace, and I told him like all this and that about, I'm just going to go kill myself. I'm going to do this and that. Fuck you. And I thought he would reach out. I thought he would be like, okay, no, please don't kill yourself. Like, I know this is also my fault. And I'm thinking it's all your fucking fault. Like, I would not have even fucked you if we wouldn't have gotten to that point. But now there's a baby. I have to take part in what I did, which was roll over and want you after that initial time. And I only wanted you because you were the warm body that was next to me, and we already had sex prior. Like, there's a difference. Like, you already contaminated me. What do you want? And it could have been from, you never know. You never know if pre-cum had anything to do with this baby. So yeah, it's none of my business. People are crazy. Men are weird. April 25th, 2022, Leticia Collins Servin.